ends up that you eat up like off your kid's plate. And then you're kind of living off coffee the rest of the morning. And then you kind of hit that crash, between sort of 3 and 5 p.m., which most people do. And they're drained. And then now they're having to make dinner. So it's like this constant repetitive cycle.
Hi there, Soulful Mama. Welcome to the Soul Care Mom podcast. I'm Catherine Wilde of soulcaremom.com. I'm a mom of 3 amazing kids, a soul care mom coach, and a yoga and meditation teacher. I've helped hundreds of women, and I'm here to help you feel calm and find your unshakable confidence as a mom. If you're ready to stop living in survival mode and you're ready to drop the mom guilt and overwhelm, this podcast is for you. Think of this as a lunch date with a girlfriend. Grab a cup of tea and get cozy. It's time to get honest and vulnerable and shift the traditional mindset around motherhood. Be sure to subscribe to be the first to know when new episodes are released. Get ready to grow and feel empowered as a mom. I'm here for you, Mama. Let's get started. Do you struggle with eating healthy for yourself or preparing balanced meals for your family? We know that eating healthy is an important part of self-care and taking care of our bodies. But navigating the world of nutritional self-care and holistic nutrition can be overwhelming. If you are nodding your head right now, you are going to want to settle in and soak in this value-packed conversation. Today on the Soul Care Mom podcast, I chat with Bethany Gettis, a certified holistic nutritional consultant and real food advocate, all about self-care and healthy eating and simple ways you can bring it into your life as a busy mom. Hi, Bethany. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to this.
I am really excited to talk with you about holistic nutrition and how busy moms can practice nutritional self-care. Could you start by sharing what is holistic nutrition and a bit about your journey with creating this healthy lifestyle as a mom?
Definitely. So I'll kind of give you a bit of my background first. I used to be a nurse in the diet and health space and help people lose tons of weight. Now I'm in a holistic practice, basically, where I've done this for my own business, because what I noticed is that we came away in the diet industry away from holistic food, and we kind of went to more man-made food that wasn't good for people, and there wasn't a lot of education around that. And what I loved about what I did was that I talked about food, but I actually wanted to help people heal their guts, like their mental health, like everything, because food can do so much for us. But we can also use it as a weapon against ourselves as well, like food and drink and things like that. So it just really depends on the quality of food that you're getting in, and you're actually getting in proper nutrients. And that's where I think holistic nutrition comes in, because it's wholesome, real food.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And it is so powerful what we put in our bodies, and such an act of self-care when we put things in that are really helpful and loving to ourselves.
Definitely.
Yeah. So if there's a mom listening right now and she's like really excited to lean into holistic nutrition, but she's feeling overwhelmed with just all the information and she's not sure where to start, what would you suggest? Like, where's a good first step for her?
It's pretty much the basics. Like, you want to make sure that you're obviously taking care of yourself. And I think a lot of moms struggle with that, especially around food. It's kind of like, you think about it, they're usually eating the snacks out of the diaper bag, or, like the baby and the toddlers kind of get fed first. So we're always prepping food for our children, but we never seem to prep food for ourselves. Now we're doing snacks and meals and dinner for everybody else. So I usually just suggest to moms, the first thing they do is actually put food aside for themselves as well, like meal prepping. It doesn't have to be hard. It's not like you're training for a competition or anything like that, and you're having to weigh things out and check out your macros. But what you should be doing is, if you're making your kids lunch, you should definitely be making a plate for yourself as well, which a lot of moms are like, oh, I'll deal with myself later. No, that doesn't happen. It ends up that you eat up like off your kid's plate. And then you're kind of living off coffee the rest of the morning. And then you kind of hit that crash, between sort of 3 and 5 p.m., which most people do. and they're drained, and then now they're having to make dinner. So it's like this constant repetitive cycle. So honestly, it's basics. Like the first thing like is just prepping out. Like if you're making your kids breakfast, add a bowl, do something for yourself, like quick, easy stuff like oatmeal and sliced apple, maybe add a little bit of peanut butter in there. Like it doesn't have to be hard as long as you're getting in like real healthy food. Like you don't want to be going through takeouts and things like that, which a lot of moms do because they're driving around, they're going from game to game, maybe with children or sport activities or preschools or whatever they're doing. And they're like, oh, I just can't be bothered to make any food for myself. I'm going to hit this drive-through. Now, when you hit the drive-through, it's usually where your weight goes up and your children's behavior starts to become erratic because it's the junk food and the sugars and all the, processed foods that their bodies aren't going to actually, it's not going to help them either, right? So that's what I see on a regular basis for moms.
Yeah, that is such a great step. And I love that it's simple because we don't need it to be more complicated. So thank you for sharing that. And over like the past couple of years here, we've gone through a lot, especially as moms and navigating like this new world with our families. And this pandemic has asked us to be flexible, which meant making more meals at home when restaurants were shut down. And in some ways that was a big challenge, but it was also an opportunity, right? To really be intentional about the meals we make and serve. So what are some tips that you have like to help moms to keep things simple when making nutritious meals at home for our families?
So this one, I usually myself included do this, but I make a lot of leftovers. So if I'm making like a dinner the night before and I'm like, if we've got no takeout, like I know we've kind of had all this skip the dishes and, delivery food that people have used instead of being able to go into restaurants and stuff. But a lot of the time people aren't aware that you can just easily batch cook something. You're making one meal already. So why not just add some extra food in there? It's not going to take you extra time, and just make bigger pans of things like, just for example, like yam fries, cutting up just like, maybe 2 yams instead of 1 yam, and you're going to roast those in the oven for fries, for the family, right? Or if you're making like a spaghetti sauce and you've got, a ground meat in there, you're going to add a double pack of meat, do double veggies. And basically then you're going to have a couple of meals for the next day. Cause then it's like, oh, now I have to make lunch for everybody. Like, really? So again, a lot of moms kind of, we're gravitating towards away from being in the kitchen so much. And I think that's why as a society, in the Western society for sure, we've leaned so much on takeout and food that, it's expensive. It's not cheap to eat like that as a family. Like I have a family of 4, and I can tell you if I was eating that on a regular basis, like my bill for food would be way higher. And as we know, the prices of food is going up in general. So that's going to also impact like restaurant eating and takeout and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The leftovers make me so happy because I know like there's something ready in the fridge. You just need to warm it up or, whatever, and serve it. I love, love, love that tip. Okay. So we talked about at home. So now that, the world is opening back up, what are your tips about restaurants? How do we approach it when we do go out? How can we make better choices?
A lot of the times people don't realize that restaurants actually most restaurants give you 2 to 3 times portions that you should actually be eating as like an adult. So with restaurants, it's usually they're heavy on the dressing and the like the oils and the fats and things like that because they want their food to taste good. So first of all, that's something that you can easily say, hey, like dressing on the side, or can you not cook that in butter? Because that instantly will add like a good couple of 100 calories. The other aspect of eating out is a lot of people drink when they eat out too. And I don't know if you've noticed, whenever you've gone to a noisy restaurant, they've done studies on it, you eat more because you can't hear the hunger signals. Like your brain's kind of like, I'm not hungry anymore. So I've been in a few restaurants where I'm like, I feel so full, like I don't get it, but it's because the music's blaring and it actually, there's studies been done that make you eat more. So eating in a quiet environment actually is kind of a key thing for a lot of people. But Yeah, they give you usually a very big portion for adult size typically. So usually the first thing I'd say is maybe cut your meal in half, like if you're eating a burger, or split a meal, say with your partner, because sometimes like a pasta dish can be really heavy. And I think a lot of us have that mentality of the clean plate dinner club. So you feel guilted into finishing your food. Not a lot of people will box it up. So there's a couple things you can split. With another adult, you can cut it in half and take the rest home with you. Or even just like what I sometimes do if I'm just out with my boys eating, I'll usually order a big thing of meal for myself and I'll split it between the three of us because I know that they're not going to eat the entire thing. And there's no point me wasting kind of money buying all these extra things when I know how much they can individually eat.
Oh, yeah, that makes so much sense. Those are really great tips.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you mentioned your boys. Sometimes I hear, moms saying things like they struggle getting their kids to eat healthier. How can moms who are struggling with this approach the situation so they're able to provide, a balanced diet and holistic nutrition for their children without it being such a battle?
This one's pretty big for a lot of people. And it's honestly because the example is set at home. So a lot of people that I know and personally myself, why my boys eat a lot of vegetables and don't have any issues with picky eating is because we've introduced it at such an early age. There's obviously going to be things that they're not going to like, for example, in our house, one of them doesn't like tomatoes, and both of them don't like mushrooms. And it's something to do with the consistency of the texture sometimes. I don't think it's the actual like food itself where it's like, I don't really like the taste of it unless it's really strong or spicy for them. So I find just always give the kids something at least to try and don't force it, because the problem is if you put like, say, I don't know, peas and carrots on the plate and you're like, you have to finish them. Now you've kind of got a battle on your hands because they're like, well, I don't want to eat these. And it kind of becomes like a test of will at the table. So what I always used to do was when I introduced a new vegetable, was I used to just offer it to them while I was cutting it up or cooking it and see if they liked it. And that was like an early age. Like I'm talking like 3 or 4 years old. They're kind of in the toddler preschool mode. And sometimes if they don't like it, I come back to it later and I just don't make a big deal about it. Like, so, if I had something on my plate and they were little or even babies, they would kind of be looking at it and they always wanted what I was eating, not what they had, So I'd say, oh, do you want to try some? Knowing that, it's a new vegetable. And sometimes I'd be like, that was gross. And sometimes they'd be like, ooh, I like that, So then I'd start adding it to their plate. And I think a lot of parents have this notion that kids are going to like instantly eat vegetables and enjoy them, but not a lot of adults actually eat vegetables and have sort of been trained that way as well. A lot of us have been forced to eat our vegetables throughout childhood. And that's kind of the notion that you see the kid with the broccoli on the plate and they're like, ew, I'm not going to eat that. But like my 8-year-old, he asks for broccoli, you know what I mean? So just every kid is different, but you have to kind of start them early and almost take away that that sense of having to eat it, or just try at least a bite, because then it becomes a battle at the table, which a lot of families are dealing with.
Yes, so true. And I think we all want to feel, that we feel empowered about the choices we make when what we put in our bodies.
Yeah.
So it's the same for them, right? Like being able to feel like I get to choose this. And I love that you bring them into the kitchen, because I feel like that helps a lot. Like when they feel like they're a part of it, the process and, trying things and helping, and that's so empowering too. I love that.
On that note, just in terms of like at the time, he's 7 now, but my youngest, when he was about 3, he wouldn't eat salad for a really long time. He kept choking on it, first of all, because lettuce is kind of one that kids can't chew very well. But what I noticed was as soon as I got him to make, he didn't eat it if I gave it to him, but as soon as I got him to make the salad with me, so I gave him like a little blunt knife, and to cut up the vegetables, we put it together and I'm like, what dressing do you want? He actually started to eat it. So because I got him to participate and see what he was putting in it, and then he's like, oh, I like salad now. So it was like he just discovered all of a sudden because he made it, it must taste good.
Right. Yeah, I get to do this. I'm proud of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So there is so much information out there about what's healthy. It can be hard to sort through everything. And we're all, unique and have different needs on different days. And I found that, taking time to educate myself has helped so much, but tuning into my intuition helps me to recognize what my body needs. So what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I'm very big on that because as a society, we've kind of been pushed into this, we have to follow this new trend, or we have to eat this way, or, for years we've had the milk and wheat industry pushed upon us because they make a lot of money doing that. And they've obviously seen now one of the biggest allergies that are out there is dairy intolerance and wheat intolerance, because we've all been over consuming these products and we've actually, not been able to digest them properly. So it is a very individualistic basis. If one thing doesn't suit in your body, don't eat it. It doesn't matter if it's kind of claimed as a health food or whatever, if your body can't tolerate something. And that's where I think I am very different from other things out there, is that I am very much an intuitive eater myself. And if I'm not hungry, I'll let myself fast and I'll be okay with that. And then there's days where I'll eat 6 times a day and I graze a lot throughout my food. And then there's some times where I'm like, you know what, I actually don't feel hungry at all. So I do listen to my body, and I listen to more so, do I need more salt or sugar? And if I'm told what to eat, and I think a lot of people do this, it kind of backfires and you end up almost doing the opposite, because it's that whole notion of you want what you can't have, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Really restricting ourselves makes us just think about that more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. So I love that you say a healthy family starts with a healthy parent. Self-care is so important, and it changes, the way that we show up as parents. So I really appreciate you sharing all of these wonderful tips about how to bring nutrition and self-care, healthy eating into our lives. And I'd love to know, what are some of your other favorite ways to practice self-care?
For me, I like to sort of take a little breaks. I like to sort of just turn off mentally. So that's either maybe I like to kind of go shopping on my own without my boys because I have a lot of males in the house. Or I like to have a bath and sort of rejuvenate. So for me, being an empath, I need a lot more sodium in my diet and stuff. So I have that through my bath salts, and also there's magnesium bath salts too. And that helps people feel more energized. So if you're kind of one of those people that you get to the end of the day and you're sort of like, oh, I feel like I have no energy left, no emotional capacity, which a lot of women do, a bath salt bath would be really beneficial for you as well.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I resonate with that deeply because hot baths are my happy place, and I use, magnesium salt in my bath. So can you elaborate on that a little? So you said being
sure.
an empath and needing more sodium?
Yeah, so I noticed there's a few people, and they come to me, and I usually ask them kind of if they're craving sugar or salt. Usually when people are craving salt, it's because they're drained usually from negative energy around them all the time, which we've had a ton of that in the last couple of years. So for myself included, I've really had to increase Himalayan salt, sea salt in my food, which I never usually do. And then bath salts, because you're absorbing that through your skin. Another good one for empathetic people is magnesium gel. So I use this as well. You'll notice if you're low in magnesium, if you get lots of headaches, you can't sleep well at night, you keep waking up, or you get severe leg cramps when you go to bed. And that was something that I constantly suffered with. So the reason I like the magnesium gel is because as soon as you put it on your skin, about 20 minutes later, it actually helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and the restless legs stop as well. When you take magnesium by mouth, which is what most people do, it takes about 4 hours for it to go through your whole digestive system. So you're kind of eliminating it from going through your entire digestive system in order for it to be in your bloodstream. So that's why I say topically, on the back of your thighs, is a lot easier for your body to absorb. Now, when people say they crave sweets, which is typically in the evening, it's because people are crashed, they're crashed and burned, and they need a quick pick-me-up. So it's kind of the same notion of people needing coffee all the time, first thing in the morning, where they're dependent on it to keep them awake. So it's a bit like your adrenals that hold stress and things like that. They're so taxed, and they need that boost all the time. So typically if someone's eating a lot of sugar and a lot of caffeine, I would imagine that their adrenals are really, really fatigued.
Oh, that's really helpful. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to wrap up this beautiful conversation by asking if you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself as you started your motherhood journey, your holistic nutrition journey?
That's a tough one because I've had so much life experience. I think more than anything, I'd probably reassure myself and tell myself that everything's going to be okay. No matter what you go through, you'll get through it. I think that's probably the biggest thing for me. I don't think I'd change anything, but more just know your inner strength. Like you are a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. And it's something that like is a great reminder for us every day, right? Like no matter what we're going through, we've got, this strength within us. And, yeah, that's so beautiful. That encouragement. So I love this conversation. Will you let us know where we can find you online?
Yeah, definitely. Everything is on my website. So I actually have a family recipe book that you can download as well. That's on my website too. It's at www.ndelish.com, and you'll find all my social media handles on there as well if you want to follow.
Oh, awesome. I will include that link in the show notes so everyone can find you. Thank you so much for sharing your story and all of your wisdom with us today.
Thanks so much, Catherine.
Thanks for joining me, Mama. I'm over here smiling from ear to ear and giving you a big virtual hug. I love spending this time with you. You are amazing for showing up and carving out this space to nourish your soul. If you are loving the Soul Care Mom podcast, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. And if you are ready to start your mornings feeling calm and energized, get the Kickstart Your Calm Morning Guide, a self-care morning ritual for moms as a free gift when you join the Soul Care Mom community. Head over to soulcaremom.com/kickstart and enter your email address to get your free gift and start feeling like a calm mom today. Sending you so much love, Mama.